You're standing in line at the airport. Your bag is packed, your boarding pass is ready, and your gate is just minutes away. Then suddenly you're pulled aside, not for what's in your luggage, but for something you didn't even know was wrong. In 2025, air travel has changed more than most passengers realize. TSA rules are stricter, boarding policies are shifting, and small mistakes are costing people their flights. If you're flying soon, don't risk it. Watch this first. If this helps you fly smarter, hit like and subscribe. Let's get into it. Number 1, the unexpected toothpaste trap. It's 5:45 a.m. at JFK. A business traveler drops his toiletry bag onto the conveyor belt with practiced ease. He's flown dozens of times this year, but today a TSA agent pulls his bag aside. Inside, a nearly full tube of toothpaste labeled as 4.6 Oz. "Sorry, sir," the agent says. "This exceeds the limit." He's confused. It's a brand he's used for years. But what he doesn't realize is that TSA is cracking down harder than ever on liquids, gels, and even squeezables, especially in 2025. With updated scanners and stricter enforcement, agents aren't just eyeballing anymore. They're following the label to the decimal point. Even worse, some brands mark the net weight, not fluid ounces, and that creates confusion. A small tube might look travel-sized, but if the printed amount says over 3.4 Oz, you're now at risk of having it tossed or triggering additional screening. And if it's part of a pre-packed set, say a hygiene kit from a hotel, it still counts. Here's the tip. If you can't clearly see 3.4 Oz, 100 ml on the label, or if it looks close to the edge, transfer it to a travel-size container yourself. The TSA won't care that it looks small, only that it fits the rule. Sometimes the smallest mistake can leave the biggest mess. Number 2, new Real ID surprise in 2025. It's mid-morning at Denver International. A woman in her 60s hands over her driver's license at the TSA checkpoint. She's visiting her daughter in another state. Nothing unusual. But the agent squints at her ID and pauses. "I'm sorry, ma'am. This isn't a real ID. You'll need a passport or other valid identification to fly." She's stunned. "But I've used this license for years." Here's what's happening. As of May 2025, the Real ID requirement is fully enforced across all U.S. airports, even for domestic flights. Even if you've flown recently, and even if your license looks official, it may not be compliant. Many states issue both Real ID and standard licenses, and they look nearly identical. The difference, a tiny star in the upper corner. No star, no fly. TSA isn't making exceptions anymore. If you show up with a non-compliant ID, you'll either need a passport, a military ID, or be turned away entirely. And yes, this has caused massive confusion, especially among seniors and infrequent travelers. Here's the travel tip. Take a moment to check your ID right now. Look for the star. If it's not there, contact your DMV as soon as possible. Processing times are backlogged in many states because it doesn't matter how early you get to the airport. If you don't have the right ID, you're not getting on the plane. Number 3, carry-on crackdown at the gate. It's boarding time at gate B12. A young couple hurries toward the gate, rolling their carry-ons behind them. They're relieved. They made it just in time. But as they hand over their passes, a gate agent gestures toward a silver bag sizer beside the boarding door. "Go ahead and place your bag in there," she says. The woman's carry-on almost fits, but not quite. The wheels stick out just enough to fail the fit. The agent doesn't blink. That'll be a $65 gate check fee. Welcome to the quiet return of the carry-on crackdown. In 2025, with fuel costs and overhead space tighter than ever, many airlines have revived strict enforcement of bag size policies, especially with basic economy and budget tickets. What's tricky? Most of these passengers already passed TSA screening, but the enforcement is now happening at the gate where the surprise charges sting hardest. And some overhead bins on newer aircraft are smaller than before, meaning even approved bags may not make the cut. Here's your protection. Before you travel, check your airline's specific carry-on dimensions. They vary more than you think. Don't assume that a bag labeled carry-on size by a brand will pass, and avoid stuffing it to the brim or adding bulky straps or attachments. Those are deal breakers at the gate. Because the cost of a few extra inches, it's not just money, it's frustration, delay, and a rough start to your trip. Number 4. Banned behavior at TSA lines. It's 6:10 a.m. at Orlando International. A college student, bleary-eyed and late for his flight, rushes through security. He groans when asked to remove his shoes, mutters something under his breath, then rolls his eyes as a TSA agent waves him over for an additional check. Moments later, he's being questioned, not because of what he packed, but because of how he acted. In 2025, TSA is putting increased emphasis on behavioral cues. That means your tone, gestures, and facial expressions can flag you just as quickly as a prohibited item. It's called behavior detection screening, and while not new, it's being used more frequently and more precisely, especially with AI-assisted monitoring and updated training. Agents are watching for signs of stress, agitation, or noncompliance, and those signs can mean secondary screening, missed flights, or in some cases, temporary detention. What surprises travelers most is that you don't need to do something wrong. Just look irritated, anxious, or evasive. And in today's world of increased tension at airports, even sarcasm or jokes about bombs can result in serious consequences. Here's the travel tip. Keep your behavior neutral and cooperative. Even if the line is long, the rules seem silly, or you're exhausted. A calm demeanor might just be the fastest way through security. Because at TSA checkpoints in 2025, your attitude is part of your luggage inspection. Number 5. Silent changes to refund rules. It's late evening. A frequent flyer gets an email that her conference is canceled. She quickly logs in to cancel her flight, confident she booked a refundable ticket. But when she clicks cancel, a small gray message pops up. No refund available. Travel credit only. She scrolls through the fine print, and there it is, buried in paragraph 6. Cancellation must be made more than 24 hours before departure to qualify for a full refund. Even though her ticket was labeled refundable, policy conditions have changed silently in 2025. Airlines under pressure from changing travel habits and tighter margins have added new clauses and conditions to their refund policies. Some now define refundable as conditional, not guaranteed. Others have started offering refunds only as flight credit or vouchers, especially for third-party bookings. And the biggest catch, if you booked using a travel portal or agency, even Expedia or Google Flights, you may be stuck with their rules, not the airlines. Here's your protection tip. Before booking, read the cancellation terms line by line, even for refundable fares. If you think there's a chance your plans could change, consider booking directly through the airline and screenshot the exact refund conditions at the time of purchase. Because in 2025, refundable doesn't always mean you'll get your money back. Number 6. Family boarding policy shift. It's boarding time at Gate C-17. A mother with 2 young children clutches a diaper bag in one hand and a stroller in the other. She approaches the boarding area early like she always has, expecting priority access. But this time, the gate agent shakes her head. We've updated our policy. Families with children under 2 may board early. Older kids must wait for their group. The mom looks stunned. Her youngest just turned 3 last month. In 2025, many airlines have quietly revised their family boarding rules, limiting early access only to those with lap infants under 2 years old or passengers needing mobility assistance. It's a shift aimed at streamlining boarding and reducing crowding near the gate, but it's catching families off guard. For parents juggling strollers, car seats, snacks, and restless toddlers, this new rule can create chaos, especially when trying to find overhead bin space or keep kids calm in a packed jetway. And it varies by airline. Some still offer early boarding for families with kids under 5, while others make no exceptions unless you've paid for priority boarding. Here's the heads up. If you're traveling with kids, check your airline's current family boarding policy before you arrive. Consider pre-boarding add-ons if you're worried about seat arrangements or overhead bin space, because in today's airports, even family boarding isn't what it used to be. Number 7. Sneaky tech bans are spreading. At Dallas-Fort Worth, a solo traveler places his sleek new e-cigarette and a power bank into the tray. Nothing unusual, but the TSA agent immediately pulls him aside. These items need to be removed from your bag and carried separately, she explains. A supervisor adds, and just so you're aware, Some newer models aren't allowed in the cabin at all. In 2025, TSA has expanded its list of restricted tech, not just based on what it is, but what it can do. Power banks over a certain capacity, smart lighters, vape devices with lithium-ion components, and even certain camera batteries are now subject to extra screening or outright bans. The reason? Fire risk. There's been a rise in incidents involving lithium battery devices overheating mid-flight, prompting updated rules across both domestic and international carriers. And here's what's catching travelers off guard. Some newer or imported devices don't clearly list their battery output, which leads TSA agents to confiscate them just to be safe. Worse, a few brands look like weapons on X-ray, especially smart pens, chargers, or flashlight tasers. Here's the smart move. If you're carrying any rechargeable device, keep it in your personal item, not checked luggage. Label your power banks and avoid off-brand imports that don't show battery capacity. And when in doubt, leave it behind or call your airline in advance, because in 2025, your tech could be the thing that grounds you. Number 8. Clothing that raises red flags. It's 7:40 a.m. at Miami International. A man walks through the security scanner wearing cargo pants with deep pockets, a bulky sweatshirt tied around his waist, and a slogan t-shirt that reads, "Don't touch me." He doesn't say a word, but within seconds, a TSA agent signals for a pat-down and secondary screening. He's confused. His bag is clean. His ID is valid. What did he do wrong? In 2025, it might be what you wear, not what you carry, that gets you flagged. TSA officers are trained to assess not just items, but perceived risk based on appearance, movement, and clothing. Baggy outfits, multiple layers, tactical style gear, or anything that hides body shape can raise red flags. Even printed messages on shirts, especially those perceived as aggressive, political, or confrontational, can trigger scrutiny. And it's not just about security. With rising social tension and heightened awareness of public behavior, airport staff may involve supervisors or law enforcement more quickly when passengers appear off, even if unintentionally. What does this mean for you? Dress for ease and neutrality. Avoid excessive layering, hidden pockets, or anything that could look tactical. Choose simple, neutral colors and skip edgy slogans. This doesn't mean you have to dress formally, but in today's airport environment, comfort should be paired with low-profile awareness because sometimes what you wear says more than you realize, especially to airport security. Number 9. Final security gate mistake. It's 10 minutes before departure at gate A9. A man approaches the boarding lane, scrolling through his phone. As he's about to scan his pass, he realizes he left his water bottle from the terminal vending machine in his hand. No big deal, he thinks. He just walked through TSA, right? But the gate agent stops him. You can't bring that on board. He's confused. But I bought it inside security. Still, she's firm. You'll need to dump it, or we can't let you through. In 2025, airlines are getting stricter about liquid policies at the gate, especially on international flights or smaller aircraft. Even water, if unsealed, can be questioned. And here's the twist. Some carriers are reintroducing gate-side screening teams, especially for high-alert flights or routes flagged for enhanced scrutiny. These agents aren't just looking for oversized bags. They're watching for open containers, vaping gear, and even snacks that haven't been screened, especially purchased near the gate from kiosks that might bypass TSA filters. It catches travelers off guard because they assume once past TSA, they're in the clear. But the gate is now an added checkpoint, one final layer of control. Here's the takeaway. Once you reach your gate, avoid opening drinks or repacking last-minute snacks. Keep carry-on items sealed and visible. And never try to sneak in almost empty bottles or quick bites tucked into odd places, because in the final stretch, a simple oversight can still cost you the flight. Air travel in 2025 isn't what it used to be. Rules have shifted quietly, enforcement is tighter, and even experienced flyers are getting tripped up by policies they didn't know had changed. From toothpaste tubes to tech devices, from boarding with kids to the clothes on your back, the small stuff matters now more than ever. And the most dangerous assumption, thinking that just because it was fine last year, it's still fine today. So before you pack, board, or even step into the airport, double-check the latest TSA rules, airline policies, and ID requirements. They're evolving, and missing a detail could mean missing your flight. What surprised you most in this video? Drop a comment below. You might help someone else fly smarter. And if you found this helpful, hit subscribe, because the next airport mistake might be just one policy update away.